and shut ourselves away. So nobody would know what we are.
Take me through what's happening here in The Lodgers.
Well, The Lodgers, it's a Gothic period ghost story set in Ireland in 1920, which was on the cusp of revolution and freedom. So I suppose in many ways the film represents that for the three central characters, actually. And it's very much a fable about repression and how burying that repression and that desire can manifest itself, and in this instance in the form of a haunting that consumes you.
We have Edward and Rachel, the twins, and they're stuck in this house, and there's three rules. Explain to me what's going on here in The Lodgers.
I think the best place to start would be with the rules, right?
Yeah.
So these twins, Rachel and Edward, are kind of bound to this house by these rules, these curse. I don't know what.
Old ancient family curse.
Yeah, and the rules are
can't permanently leave the house. Never leave each other alone. Never let strangers in.
Oh, and be in bed by midnight. 4.
By midnight's bell, as the
Yes.
song goes.
Say it and make us sick again.
Where did the story come from for this film?
From the incredible mind of David Turpin. I don't know how to explain this man. He came to the producers, or the producers came to him and said, David, do you think you can write us a story? We're kind of looking for a sort of a horror film, maybe something Gothic.
Because he's a professor, isn't he?
Yeah, he's
Gothic,
a professor of Gothic literature, but professor of Gothic literature. And he kind of just pops away and comes back with this kind of really rich, intense story of these two twins in this house. In fact, Brian, the director, yesterday told me that that came from, the idea kind of first came from when he was a kid. He had these nightmares, or maybe for him it was more of a dream, of whenever he went to sleep, there would be people that came up from the basement and lived in the house while they were asleep.
One of the elements of this film that makes it so unique, I think it's very right, Brian refers to it as a ghost story as opposed to a sort of full-blown horror. It's as an element that's very accurate, because this is very much about the sort of, think that kind of undercurrent, that repressive environment in which our characters, Rachel and Edward kind of live. You don't get that in many films. Very very much in a lot of horror films, it's about when the next jump will come. Sure. When will you next get scared? But this is a sort of a long, there's constant crescendos, but it's a musical piece the whole way
and
through.
Unlike the jump out scare you, this sticks with you a bit
Yes,
longer,
it does. It does.
Well, that's one of the things about Gothic horror, because the texture and the aesthetic are a huge part of it, not just the story. So you really have to get that right. So even though you're under pressure and you have budgetary restrictions, you have to do your absolute best to make sure aesthetically it ticks those boxes. And I feel we got pretty close. I think it has that very strong atmosphere of the Gothic throughout.
There's no name for what we are.